about peaking. They call it peak week or peaking or whatever. It's extremely hard to do. I've had it happen to me maybe 4 times. Never on stage except for the Olympia '08. And basically, like I talked to Lee Haney, and Lee Haney was like, how many ever shows he won his whole career. The only show he ever peaked at was his last Mr. Olympia in '91. Mm-hmm. And I think I told you this, Giles, when you peak physically, it's a look, but it's also a feeling. And it feels exactly like a total body erection is what it really feels like, because your muscles are hard and pumped and they're flexed, or you're in control of it completely. And it feels like it can't get any better than that. And then, not too long after that, you start feeling, less and less and less until you return back to whatever. Mm-hmm. But that's what it really felt like. And I remember being at it was actually, I didn't peak Friday at the prejudging. I peaked Saturday, right before the night show. And being first at the Olympia when you walk out number 1, it's a slight advantage in my opinion, because when you pump up for that, then you walk out on stage. So let's just say I was 3rd or 4th or 5th, I would pump up, right after the first person that was first, but you wouldn't know how long it was going to be before you actually got to walk on stage. So, you know what I mean? Yeah. So being first, and I'll tell you a brief story how that happened. 7 weeks before the show, a friend of mine, Jay Hammett, we were talking about the Olympia and the posing routine. And I told him, I said, I want to have a major effect on the crowd and on the judges, when I compete. And he said, well, if you could pick any number to go 1 through 15 or whatever, which would you want to be? I said, I want to be number 1. I said, I want to go out there. And I said, I want to scar their retinas with my look. So after they see me, they won't see nothing else. And so we're sitting in the athletes meeting, and Robin Chainer is about to call the numbers, and they called Toney Freeman number 1. And I got this rush of like endorphins, emotions, because it was almost like I spoke it into existence 7 weeks before that. And I knew that with the routine that I came up with after they saw me, it was going to be hard to really ignore me after that. Yeah. So anyway, I Friday night was really awesome, but I think I was a little flat. I was slightly flat. So Saturday morning, I got up really early, like 5:30 in the morning, and I said, what can I do to feel myself out without ruining the conditioning? I said, I need water, but I don't, if I drink water, then I might drink too much. You know what I'm saying? It might get a pill under my skin. I said, I'm going to go do a colonic. I'll go do a colonic at that super dry state. Oh, wow. And so I know that when you do colonics, it hydrates your body, but it's hydrating you from the inside. Okay. So in other words, when you getting the water pumped into you that way, your body knows how much water it needs. So it's going to take what it needs, and then the rest is going to come out. So I did that. And so when I laid on the table, literally, I was 161 when I got there that morning, which was about 7 or 8 pounds lighter than I was the night before. I think I was in the mid 70s on Friday. So I had lost 10 pounds of water overnight. In the desert, that can happen. Whoa. So I laid on the table. I was 161 before I got on. When I got off, I got on the scale. I was 273. So on the table, that's how much water my body absorbed. So then we didn't go on stage till like 9:30 that night. So I literally ate all day without drinking anything. And you saw what I looked like when I got there. I walked out. So I'm at the bottom of the stairs, and I feel this total body erection coming on and these endorphins. And I walked out on stage, and my music came on. If you try to YouTube that Mr. Olympia, they won't pop up. They'll show second on. But anyway, look at it if you got the DVD. It was insane. So that was a really magnificent moment for me. And I knew that I was, first or second. I knew it was between me, Dexter, and Phil. Yeah. And so I didn't know how it was going to come out. And they came backstage and they said, well, you either first or fifth, depending on what they do with Jay. And I was just like really confused by that. But I knew my goal the whole time was to be bigger than Jay and more conditioned than Dexter. And I felt like I achieved that. And, it is what it is.